So a map will tell you that Aurora is to the right of Denver, and for decades that was also true politically. As Aurora is growing and gaining political sway statewide, progressives have now taken half of Aurora City Council. Now the part of the nonpartisan council races that will decide which way Aurora leans, they have become really partisan. Here's politics guy Marshall Zellinger.
Have you seen the colors lately? The vibrant reds, golds, greens, and blues. Wait, I'm not talking about the leaves. The reds, golds, greens, and blues, even pinks of political signs. You can't miss them in Aurora, where the results of next week's 4 city council races will determine if Aurora continues to lean left or goes back to being conservative.
At the time I was running, I was a Republican. I'm currently an independent, unaffiliated.
Bob Laguerre served on Aurora City Council for 17 years, with a brief stint as mayor at the end. Most of his time on council was when it was quietly conservative.
It's been since I left council that it's gotten the most radical.
Liberal council members elected in 2017 and 2019 have been critical of police in light of the death of Elijah McClain and the response to the protests that followed. The split council also debated, but failed to pass, an immigration defense fund.
I don't think that's beneficial to the residents of the city if you're taking national political issues and then making them the focus of what you do on the city council.
When there's issues like climate action or police reform or homelessness, local government is where there can be a direct impact.
Progressive Nicole Johnston resigned from her council seat in June when she moved to Colorado Springs. Her absence has led to a tie on 2 prominent issues: picking her replacement and voting on Mayor Mike Kaufman's camping ban. Because of the split council, her seat remains vacant until voters pick her replacement next week. And because of 2 tie votes, the mayor's camping ban can't be brought up again for a few months. And if the liberal-leaning candidates win, the camping ban likely won't. If the conservative-leaning candidates win, it probably will.
I think these candidates are very lockstep with Mayor Kaufman.
But because the council races are nonpartisan, you can't look at a sign and know who leans which way, except for this candidate who put his party affiliation on his sign. Despite the split-minded council, 2 former members can still see eye to eye.
I don't think it's good governance to have anything far one way or far the other.
The radicals on the right are just as radical as the radicals on the left.
There are 15 candidates vying for 5 council seats in 4 different races. And as we've said, none of the 15 have a letter next to their name indicating party affiliation. They weren't clever enough, like the no mandates guy, to sneak their leaning on the ballot. So, Kyle, you have to research to know who leans which way.
So this is not unheard of, Marshall, in nonpartisan races that we see across Colorado. And typically, whichever party thinks that they're going to get smoked, if people knew their party affiliation, they don't want to talk about it. They're like, I'm just a guy, you know? Whereas the other party that thinks that the electorate is with them, they're loud and proud. I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. What's happening in Aurora in terms of that?
As you heard Johnston, she thinks there are certain slate that lean toward Mayor Kaufman, that they're lockstep with him. And I know there's some social media going around where there's a picture of multiple candidates, like this is your one-stop shop guide for who you should vote for. On the liberal-leaning side, the Democrats, as you saw, one person has it on their sign, Democrat. We've talked in the past, another candidate calls himself a Democratic candidate. That seems more individual, like, look, I'm the left-leaning person, whereas the ones on the right are like, we're the group that you want to elect if you like Mayor Kaufman's stance.
Yeah, and as Marshall examined last week, good conversation about whether nonpartisan elections really do serve voters. Marshall, thank you.